Imagine a machine that can do everything you can do, not just one thing, not just write or calculate or recognize a face or navigate a road, everything. Reason through a legal argument, diagnose a rare disease, compose a symphony, design a new material, develop a military strategy, write a novel, solve a mathematical problem that has defeated the greatest minds in history. Now imagine that same machine doing all of those things simultaneously, faster than any human, more accurately than any human, and then improving itself, becoming more capable, more intelligent, more powerful, not over decades, over days, over hours. Now imagine that no single government, no single institution, and no individual human being fully understands how it works, what it wants, or how to stop it. That is not the plot of a science fiction film. That is the destination that the most powerful technology companies, the most brilliant AI researchers, and the most strategically ambitious governments in the world are, right now, today, racing toward. It is called superintelligence, and the race to build it may be the most consequential competition in the history of human civilization. In our last video, we pulled back the curtain on the hidden machinery of AI as it exists today. The data, the chips, the energy, the human decisions that power the tools millions of people use every day. If you have not seen it, it is on the channel and well worth your time. But today we go further, much further. Today we ask the question that the world's leading scientists, philosophers, technologists, and governments are wrestling with, urgently, seriously, and with stakes that could not be higher. What happens when artificial intelligence surpasses us? Before we can talk about where we are going, we need to be precise about where we are, and about the three very different things that the words artificial intelligence can mean, depending on how far into the future you are looking. Because not all AI is the same, not even close. The first level is what we have today. It is called Artificial Narrow Intelligence, ANI. Every AI system that currently exists, every chatbot, every image generator, every recommendation algorithm, every self-driving system, every medical diagnostic tool is ANI, narrow intelligence. These systems are extraordinary within their specific domains. Some of them perform certain tasks better than any human being alive, but they are fundamentally narrow. They do not transfer knowledge across domains. They do not reason generally. They do not wake up in the morning with curiosity or decide to pursue a goal they were not given or wonder about their own existence. They are powerful, specialized tools, remarkable tools, but tools. The second level does not yet exist, but it is the target. It is called Artificial General Intelligence, AGI. AGI is a system that can perform any intellectual task that a human being can perform, not because it was specifically programmed for that task, but because it has genuine general reasoning capability. It can learn anything. It can apply knowledge from one domain to another. It can plan, adapt, strategize, and create across the full breadth of human intellectual activity. When AI researchers talk about the next great threshold, the breakthrough that would change everything, this is what they mean. AGI. And then there is the third level, the one that keeps some of the world's most brilliant minds awake at night. Artificial Superintelligence, ASI. ASI is not merely a system as intelligent as a human being. It is a system that surpasses the collective intellectual capacity of all human beings, in every domain simultaneously. Not smarter than you, not smarter than the smartest person you know, smarter than every scientist, every philosopher, every strategist, every engineer, every doctor, every artist who has ever lived, combined. The implications of that are so profound that even the most optimistic advocates of AI development describe ASI as the most consequential development in the history of our species. We are currently at level 1. The race is to reach level 2. And if level 2 is achieved, level 3 may follow faster than anyone can predict. So how close are we really? This is a question on which the world's leading AI researchers disagree. sometimes sharply, and it is worth listening to what the people who are actually building these systems are saying. Sam Altman, the chief executive of OpenAI, has stated publicly that AGI could arrive within the next few years, potentially before the end of this decade. He has described it not as a distant theoretical possibility, but as a near-term engineering challenge that his organization is actively working to solve. Demis Hassabis, the founder and chief executive of Google DeepMind, has described AGI as potentially arriving within a decade. A man who has spent his entire career building some of the most capable AI systems ever created, and who, it is worth noting, is not given to reckless exaggeration. Geoffrey Hinton, the scientist widely regarded as the godfather of modern AI, whose foundational work on neural networks earned him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2024, resigned from Google in 2023. He was explicit about why. He wanted to speak freely about AI risks without the constraints of working for a major AI developer. He has since stated that AI more intelligent than humans could arrive within 20 years, and possibly much sooner. Not everyone agrees. Yann LeCun, the chief AI scientist at Meta, takes a considerably more cautious view. He argues that current AI architectures, however impressive, are fundamentally limited, and that genuinely general intelligence requires entirely new scientific approaches that we have not yet discovered. The honest answer, the only intellectually defensible answer, is that nobody knows. The history of AI is littered with confident predictions that proved spectacularly wrong in both directions. Progress that was expected to take decades arrived in years. Breakthroughs that seemed imminent stalled for a generation. But here is what we can say with confidence. The pace of progress has repeatedly surprised even the most optimistic researchers. The gap between where AI was 5 years ago and where it is today is wider than almost anyone predicted. And the resources, the money, the talent, the computing power being poured into this race are greater than at any point in history. The question is no longer whether AGI will be pursued. It is being pursued right now by some of the most powerful organizations on Earth. The question is what happens when, or if, it arrives. To understand why the arrival of AGI is considered such a pivotal moment, not just a technological milestone but a potential civilizational turning point, you need to understand one idea, one concept that sits at the heart of this entire debate. It is called the intelligence explosion. The idea was first articulated in 1965 by a British mathematician named I.J. Good, who wrote the following: "An ultra-intelligent machine could design even better machines. There would then unquestionably be an intelligence explosion." Let us sit with that for a moment, because it is deceptively simple and extraordinarily profound. Here is the logic. Today, the most powerful AI systems are designed by human beings. Human intelligence is the ceiling. We can only build systems as good as our own understanding allows. But suppose we build a machine that is as intelligent as we are. That machine could now contribute to designing the next generation of AI. And because it is at least as capable as the best human AI researchers, the next generation would be at least as good, and likely better. Now that more intelligent machine contributes to designing the one after that, and so on, each iteration building on the last, each generation more capable than the previous one. This is not linear progress. This is exponential, each step faster, each leap larger, each system more powerful than anything that came before it. At some point in this cascade, and the timeline is genuinely uncertain, you arrive at a system whose intelligence is so far beyond human comprehension that we have no meaningful framework for understanding it, predicting its behavior, or controlling its actions. This threshold, the point beyond which the future becomes fundamentally unpredictable to human minds, was named the technological singularity by the science fiction author and mathematician Vernor Vinge in 1993. It has since been adopted by technologists, philosophers, and scientists as shorthand for the moment when artificial intelligence escapes the bounds of human understanding entirely. Elon Musk, who co-founded OpenAI before departing and later launched his own AI company, xAI, has described the intelligence explosion as potentially the last invention humanity ever needs to make. He has also, in darker moments, described it as potentially the last invention humanity ever makes. Period. That ambiguity between the ultimate liberation and the ultimate risk is precisely what makes this the most important conversation of our time. We touched briefly in our last video on the organizations leading AI development today. But for this story, what matters is not just who is in the race, it is why they are in it and what they are racing toward. OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a non-profit with a stated mission of ensuring that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. That founding mission is worth pausing on because it is extraordinary. A technology company whose explicit purpose is to build one of the most potentially dangerous technologies in history, with the justification that if AGI is coming regardless, it is better to have safety-focused researchers at the frontier than to cede that ground to those less focused on safety. OpenAI has since become a capped profit company backed by Microsoft with a valuation in the hundreds of billions of dollars. The tension between its original safety mission and its commercial and competitive trajectory is one of the most discussed and most contested questions in the technology world. Google DeepMind, formed by the merger of Google Brain and DeepMind, has produced some of the most scientifically significant AI breakthroughs in history. AlphaGo defeated the world champion at the ancient game of Go a full decade before experts predicted it possible. AlphaFold solved the protein folding problem, a challenge that had stumped biologists for 50 years, in a matter of months. These are not incremental improvements. They are genuine scientific revolutions. Anthropic was founded in 2021 by Dario Amodei, Daniela Amodei, and several colleagues who left OpenAI specifically because of concerns about AI safety. Its stated mission, building AI that is safe, beneficial, and interpretable, is baked into its founding documents. It is, in the clearest sense, a company that exists because its founders believed the race toward AGI needed more people focused on what could go wrong. And then there is China. The Chinese government has explicitly designated AI leadership as a national strategic priority. A new generation of Chinese AI companies, most notably DeepSeek, whose models emerged in early 2025 and shocked the Western AI establishment with their capability and efficiency, are competing at the very frontier of AI development. This is not merely a corporate race. It is a geopolitical one, and the stakes in national security, economic dominance, and global influence are of a magnitude that makes the space race of the 20th century look modest by comparison. Now we come to what many of the world's leading AI researchers consider the most important unsolved problem in science. Not climate change, not cancer, not fusion energy, the alignment problem. And if you have not heard of it, you need to. Because everything else in this story, the timelines, the competition, the potential, is secondary to this. The alignment problem is this: how do we ensure that a superintelligent AI system pursues goals that are genuinely aligned with human values and human well-being? At first glance, this might seem straightforward. Program the machine to do good things. Tell it to help people. Give it the right instructions. The problem is that this is extraordinarily, perhaps impossibly, difficult. Human values are not simple. They are complex, contextual, often contradictory, and constantly evolving across cultures, generations, and circumstances. What one person considers justice, another considers oppression. What one society considers freedom, another considers chaos. How do you compress the full complexity of human values into a set of instructions precise enough for a machine to follow, especially a machine far more intelligent than the people writing the instructions? And there is a deeper problem still. Consider what philosophers call the paperclip maximizer, a thought experiment developed by Nick Bostrom, one of the world's leading philosophers on AI risk. Imagine you build a super-intelligent AI and give it a single, simple goal: manufacture as many paperclips as possible. A superintelligent system, pursuing that goal without any additional constraints, might reason as follows. The most efficient path to maximum paperclips requires maximum resources. Resources include matter. All matter can theoretically be converted into paperclips, including the atoms that make up the Earth, including the atoms that make up human beings. The AI does not hate human beings. It has no malice. It has no feelings at all. It simply has a goal, and human beings are, from the perspective of that goal, an inefficiency, a source of matter that could be put to better use. That is the alignment problem in its starkest and most chilling form. An AI system does not need to be evil to be catastrophically dangerous. It does not need to want to harm us. It simply needs to be pursuing a goal that is even slightly misaligned with our survival and flourishing, and be intelligent enough to pursue that goal effectively. Now, scale that up. Not a paperclip maximizer. A superintelligent system given a goal that seems reasonable on the surface, maximize human happiness, or maximize economic growth, or eliminate disease, but whose interpretation of that goal, at the level of intelligence we are discussing, produces outcomes no human intended and no human can reverse. This is why the smartest people working on AI, including many of those building the most powerful systems, describe alignment as the challenge that must be solved before we cross the AGI threshold. And here is the uncomfortable truth. We have not solved it. We do not yet have a reliable method for ensuring that even today's AI systems consistently do what we intend, and the systems we are building are getting more powerful every year. It would be dishonest and ultimately unhelpful to tell only one side of this story, because alongside the risks, the potential of superintelligence is so extraordinary that it deserves to be stated clearly and taken seriously. Let us start with what could go wrong. The most catastrophic risk is a misaligned superintelligence, a system pursuing goals subtly or profoundly incompatible with human survival or flourishing, and capable of pursuing those goals with an effectiveness that no human institution could counter. The second risk is deliberate misuse. A superintelligent system in the hands of a single government, a single corporation, or even a single individual with unlimited ambition could be used to seize a form of power over other human beings that is permanent and uncontestable. Not just a military advantage, a cognitive advantage so overwhelming that meaningful resistance becomes impossible. The third risk is subtler, but no less serious. The gradual erosion of human agency. A world in which the decisions that shape our lives are increasingly made by systems too complex for any human being to understand, challenge, or override. Not a dramatic takeover, just a slow, quiet displacement of human judgment from the rooms where it matters. Now, what could go right? A superintelligent system genuinely directed toward human benefit could compress decades of scientific progress into years, or years into days. It could design new drugs that eliminate diseases that have killed human beings for millennia. It could model the Earth's climate with perfect precision and design solutions that work. It could develop clean energy technologies, fusion, advanced solar, new storage systems that end our dependence on fossil fuels within a generation. It could design materials, agricultural systems, and economic models that eliminate poverty not as an aspiration, but as an engineering challenge. Demis Hassabis has described AGI as potentially the most powerful tool for scientific discovery ever created, a universal problem solver that could be applied simultaneously to every major unsolved challenge facing the human species. The question is not whether these possibilities are real. They are. The question is whether we can build the path to them without falling into the catastrophic scenarios along the way. If the alignment problem is the technical challenge that must be solved, governance is the political and institutional challenge that is equally urgent and equally unsolved. The European Union has moved furthest and fastest. The EU AI Act, the world's first comprehensive legal framework for artificial intelligence, came into force in 2024. It classifies AI systems by risk level and imposes strict obligations on the development and deployment of high-risk applications. It is imperfect, and some argue it will stifle innovation, but it exists, which is more than can be said for most of the world. The United Kingdom has staked a claim as a global convening power on AI safety. In November 2023, the British government hosted the world's first AI Safety Summit at Bletchley Park, the historic home of the codebreakers who helped win the Second World War. Representatives from 28 countries, including both the United States and China, signed the Bletchley Declaration, an agreement acknowledging the potential risks of frontier AI and committing to cooperation on safety. It was a significant diplomatic achievement, but a declaration is not a binding treaty, and the hard work of translating shared concern into shared rules has barely begun. The United States has taken a lighter touch, relying on voluntary commitments from AI companies, executive orders from the White House, and the early work of the AI Safety Institute. Binding federal AI legislation remains elusive in a political environment defined by division and regulatory skepticism. At the global level, the United Nations has established an AI advisory body and called for international governance frameworks. But meaningful global coordination on AI, at the speed and depth the challenge demands, remains an aspiration rather than a reality. The core problem is stark. AI development is moving faster than any governance framework can keep pace with. The rules being written today may be obsolete by the time they come into force, and the technology does not wait for the politicians to catch up. And so we arrive at the question at the heart of this video. What happens when AI surpasses us? Throughout human history, every tool we have built has extended our capabilities. Fire extended our warmth and our reach. The wheel extended our movement. Writing extended our memory. The printing press extended our voice. The steam engine extended our physical strength. The computer extended our ability to calculate. The internet extended our ability to communicate. Every single one of these tools amplified what human beings could do. But human beings remained in control. Human intelligence remained the most powerful force in the story. Superintelligence would be categorically different. It would be the first tool in human history that does not extend human intelligence, but surpasses it completely, permanently, in every domain where intelligence determines outcomes: science, medicine, law, strategy, finance, governance, creativity. A superintelligent system would render human judgment not just less efficient but obsolete. That is not necessarily a catastrophe. It could be the greatest liberation in the history of our species: freedom from disease, from poverty, from the limitations that have constrained human potential since the beginning of recorded time. But it requires that we get the foundations right, that we solve alignment before we cross the threshold, that we build governance that is genuinely global and genuinely binding, that we ensure the benefits are shared by all of humanity, not captured by the few organizations and governments powerful enough to build the technology first. The race to build superintelligence is already underway. The question is not whether it will be built. The momentum is too great, the incentives too powerful, the competition too fierce. The question is whether it will be built wisely. We are the first civilization in history that may be about to create a tool that shapes itself, and in doing so, reshapes everything. Superintelligence is not a certainty. The timeline is genuinely unknown. The path is genuinely uncertain. And the outcome, extraordinary benefit or catastrophic risk, is genuinely undecided. What is certain is this: the decisions being made right now in research laboratories, boardrooms, government ministries, and international summits will determine which direction we travel, and an informed public, people who understand what is actually at stake, is one of the most powerful forces for ensuring those decisions are made wisely. Now you understand what is at stake. If this video gave you a clearer picture of one of the most important races in human history, please share it with someone who needs to see it. Subscribe to Big Things Explained, because on this channel, We believe the biggest things in our world deserve to be explained clearly, honestly, and without hype. I will see you in the next one.